So the new Rescue Rangers movie came out recently. I thought I'd give it a little stab, a little poke, see what all the fuss is about. Because let's be real, this movie's kind of taken the world by storm. You know, everyone's talking about how it's a masterpiece, how it's in a caliber of its own, how nothing can ever compare to it, and I get that. I mean, we have characters like Ugly Sonic, the car from Cars, Ugly Sonic, AirPods, Ugly Sonic, Randy from South Park, and of course, most of all, more than anything in the entire movie, Ugly Sonic. Let me tell you something here, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I like? You know what I like in a movie more than anything? References. And that is exactly why I consider this movie to be so good. Because they take out all the boring stuff that movies have. You know, character development, acting, plot. When I watch a movie, I want to be in a constant state of that meme of Leo DiCaprio pointing at the screen. Oh, that thing! I know that. I know who that is. I've seen him before. I want to be in such a state of point and look that my arm is sore at the end of the movie. And another thing I love about this movie, every time there's a bad joke, every time the plot line doesn't add up or there's a big plot hole, they just meta it away. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're self-aware about it, you're never shit. At least that's what I tell myself. It completely nullifies all bad writing, all bad jokes, as long as you are just aware that the joke and the plot is bad. And this movie has it in droves. All right, let's be serious here for 1 second. I might be going a little bit too hard on this movie, but I'll be honest with everyone here. Watching this movie for me was the equivalent of, you know, nails on a chalkboard. Because let me explain why I don't like it. I understand why everyone appreciates it. I get that element to it, and I will get to that. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone agrees this movie is just reference the movie. I mean, every single video title I see on YouTube has Rescue Rangers reference the movie. Has meta gone too far? So I'm pretty sure most people collectively agree that the whole meta element of this movie is 99% of the movie. I mean, it's just that thing that the big media companies have been doing lately where they just dip into their backlog of a buttload of different characters that they own and then kind of show them off on one big screen movie. I'll be honest, I hate those movies. I think they're stupid. I mean, the new Space Jam movie was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Ready Player One as well. It was just annoying as shit. The reason these movies are never good is because the company's focusing on getting every character into the movie instead of focusing on just making a good movie. So I honestly don't even blame the writers that much, because let's be real, if you have thousands of different characters that you're supposed to add into a movie, how exactly are you going to make that into a good plot? See, the issue with these movies all comes to the fact that they are adding all of these different characters. I mean, as a writer, it's probably pretty difficult to take all these thousands of characters that this company owns, try to shove it into the movie while at the same time trying to make a decent story. Now, obviously, a lot of times in these movies, they're just background characters and they're just thrown in just to be there. And I will admit, out of all of these reference type movies, I feel like Rescue Rangers did an okay job at handling all of that. Is it a good movie? No, but I mean, they tried, you know? But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the big seller of this movie, the thing that really pushed everyone to go watch this movie. We're talking about Ugly Sonic, baby. Now, while I will agree that adding Ugly Sonic was a very clever and a fat W for Disney, regardless of how bad it is, I mean, this never happens. A big company owning up to a mistake that they made and taking it in stride, you know, kind of laughing at themselves and realizing that they fucked up. Like, that's pretty cool. You don't see that much. But another way I could describe this part of the movie is, you ever have one of those friends who goes up to you, they tell you a joke, and you laugh very hard, very good joke. But then every time you see that friend again, they just say that joke again for years and years. And then you start to wonder, why the hell am I hanging out with this guy? Then after not talking to him for 20 years, you end up seeing him across the road, and then he's pointing at you and he's already putting his hand over his mouth laughing, and then he runs over to you ready to tell you that joke from 20 years ago. Let it go. The joke, just let it go. This was basically the Ugly Sonic portion of this movie. It was funny, and then they just kept going. It's just one of those situations where it was a good attempt at a joke, just a bad delivery, in my opinion. The sheer amount of times they did a slow-mo zoom in of Sonic's human teeth, like, we get it. We get it. But it does seem like I'm in the minority because a lot of people seem to love that portion of the movie, which I did for the first 5 seconds, and then I just wanted them to shut up. Do you guys ever find yourself in that situation where you're trying to check out for something? Maybe you're buying some food, maybe you're in the fast food line, and you're sitting there fumbling through your wallet, trying to squeeze out the card that you need, and then you hit him with like the small talk comment being like, oh, I'll get it at some point. Well, now, there's a quick and easy solution. Extra wallets. Now, ever since I got extra wallets, I instantly threw my old wallet away and have been using this constantly, and oh my gosh, it is a lifesaver. Because if you're like me, you have way too many cards. And not only that, but wallets get super bulky when you start filling it up with cards, and also when you start filling it up with cash. Especially if you put it in your back pocket while you're sitting down. You know, that's not comfortable, and it can give you some back pain. But Extra Wallets has a super slim, sleek design that I love. And you could hold up to 12 cards plus cash in these wallets. Access all of your cards just by the click of a button. And these wallets also have built-in RFID blocking, so you won't have to worry about wireless theft, because that is actually a thing. Something else that's really cool is the solar-powered tracker. You ever lose your wallet? Oh, trust me, you have, and I have 1 billion times. Anytime you lose your wallet, you open your phone, you look for it, and you could even click a button and have it have an alert sound. Also, if you lose your phone, you can press this little button right here and find your phone as well. And also, 2 hours in the sun equal 3 months of battery life for this thing. So that's awesome. So what are you doing with your bulky, uncomfortable wallet that is really hard to get your cards out? Get some Extra Wallets. Click that link in the description and get it today. But anyway, let's go over the main plot of the movie. You know, it follows Chip and Dale, them growing up together as little chip. Are they chipmunks? They're chipmunks, right? Chipmunk. But anyway, they met in school, instantly became friends, and then with Jack Black singing as the montage soundtrack in the background, which I just want to mention is a really cool addition, they end up going to California to start their journey with the Chip and Dale Show, which I would like to mention. I do like how in this movie they set it up as if they're recording it in a live action studio. Kind of brings that element to, oh, they are real actors and stuff like that. I mean, obviously the voice actors are real actors. You get what I'm saying. But then eventually Dale starts to realize that he is kind of second in line when it comes to Chip, and he always gets the short end of the stick. You know, everyone kind of pokes fun at him, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's one of those situations like when you were in high school and your friend group keeps like doing those little jabs, those little poke fun jokes at you, but it keeps accumulating for like years and years, and then you start to realize, oh, this is bullying. This isn't good. But anyway, Dale signs a contract to make a show for himself in order to be a little bit more independent, which obviously Chip isn't happy about it, and they ended up getting a Chip and Dale canceled because Dale ran off to do the other show, and that's basically how this movie starts. And the whole movie's surrounded by the self-aware meta reboot of the Rangers getting together again to solve a crime. It's like not a reboot, but it's like a meta reboot because they're not actually in character. They're real life. Yeah. So Dale becomes a struggling actor after getting the CGI surgery, while Chip becomes an insurance agent who owns a dog named Millie, which is actually funny because my dog's named Millie. But Monty gives them both a call for help, and apparently he has become a cheese addict, which is this universe's equivalent to a drug addict. And we also start to hear the main conflict of the movie, which honestly I kind of find funny. Basically, whenever a show gets canceled, the characters of that show, they kind of get desperate, you know, like kind of like how actors get desperate when they lose their show and get out of work. So they get support from the Valley Gang. And when they can't pay up to the Valley Gang, they get turned into bootleg characters, shipped overseas, and are cast in bootleg movies, which I honestly think is a pretty clever thing for them to do. I'll admit it. They did something clever. So Monty ends up getting kidnapped from the Valley Gang, you know, because he couldn't pay up from his cheese payments. And then Chip and Dale start to realize, oh, we got to go save Monty. And obviously Chip was a reluctant one because he didn't really want to hang out with Dale after Dale kind of ruined their whole Chip and Dale situation with him going to a new movie. And then, you know, we spun the whole thing of, it's just a show, Dale. We aren't actually heroes. But then they go do the thing. You know how it goes. They end up getting a tip from a police officer named Ellie, and then they head off to try to find out where Monty is. So they end up going to a Muppet who sells the cheese and then gets kidnapped from said Muppet. They get sent to the Uncanny Valley, which again, I do like this portion that they made the Uncanny Valley into a real thing, a place where uncanny characters live. And then they meet Sweet Pete, and Sweet Pete is Peter Pan as an adult. And Sweet Pete has two henchmen, which is the weirdest combination of henchman characters I could ever imagine. The Coca-Cola polar bear and Seth Rogen with an axe. I'm honestly not sure which movie this is from. Is it Beowulf or something? I don't know what movie this is from. But we find out that Sweet Pete's the leader of the Valley Gang, and he's behind the whole turning characters into bootleg characters in order to give them work. And Peter Pan's whole motivation is the thing that kind of blends into real life acting. Because Peter Pan, similar to the voice actor of Peter Pan, when he was a kid, you know, he played the character of Peter Pan, who's supposed to be a young child forever. But then Peter Pan, the character, started getting older, you know, he started getting facial hair, acne, his voice started dropping. They ended up kicking him off the show, and then he decided he's going to start making bootleg movies, and then it made him money. So he made an entire business about that. And this could also be related to the voice actor of Peter Pan and a lot of child voice actors who voice child characters, or not even voice child characters, but just being a child actor in general, because obviously when your voice drops or when you get older, you go through puberty, that role that you've been playing or voice acting as, you're not going to be able to do it anymore because your voice. So it could be relating to both things there. But anyway, Sweet Pete, you know, he started making his own bootleg movies. And in order to continually make those bootleg movies, he snatches up characters that are, you know, desperate for money or out of work. And then when they can't pay up, he turns them into bootleg characters and then casts them in his movies. So Chip and Dale, after finding that out, they try to catch them, but they end up escaping and realize that Monty might end up becoming a bootleg character as well. So they team up with Ellie, the police officer, who is also a huge fan of the show, and they infiltrate a bathhouse to get Pete's Fitbit in order to find the location of his lair. And then they rap. Yeah, there's a chipmunk rap in this movie. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, as long as they're self-aware and meta about it, they can be cringe. Oh man, this is so cringe. Why does everyone always add a rap song to a movie? Oh, let's rap about how everyone adds a rap song to this movie. This is so lame and stupid. Stop. So anyway, they make it to his lair. We find out that Sora from Kingdom Hearts didn't last very long. And unfortunately, they didn't find Monty there. So they're back at the police station, out of options, when they catch a whiff of Monty's cologne in the office of the sheriff who is talking to Ellie. So obviously, they start realizing that there's an inside man in the police station. And something I just want to mention, semi-spoilers for later on. I think it's kind of stupid that this is how they figure it out, because obviously they would have smelled the cologne at another point, because they've been around the cops the entire time. They've been around Ellie the entire time, but now they're smelling it. So yeah, kind of confusing. So anyway, they stop trusting Ellie and they stop trusting the cops, because obviously they potentially could be pulling a fast one on the boys. So they end up going to Ugly Sonic for help, because Ugly Sonic mentioned that he was going to be on an FBI TV show. Ugly Sonic, uglier crimes. Then they get chased by Peter Pan's minions. Dale makes it out without getting caught, but Chip is the one that ends up getting captured. So now they have bait to bring Dale over to him. Then the big twist, the huge twist of the movie. Obviously, spoilers. I mean, it's been spoilers the entire time. If you're stupid enough to have watched this and then being like, why did I get spoiled? Obviously, it's spoiler. Be smarter than that. So this is probably one of my biggest complaints with this entire movie, is the ending of the movie. So towards the end of the movie, when they are trying to figure out who the culprit is, which to be fair, at this point, it is kind of obvious who it is. Earlier on, they said, oh, it could be the sheriff. But then like, no, it couldn't be the sheriff. That's too cliche. That's too obvious. There's no way it could be the sheriff. And then later on in the movie, obviously it was the sheriff. And then they spend, not gonna lie, 2 to 3 minutes being self-aware about it. Wait a second, it was you all along? I know, isn't that crazy and cliche and predictable that it was me who was the bad guy all along? See, when Peter Pan walked up to me and said, "Yay, you should be a bad guy," and I thought, that's so cliche and predictable. Why would I be the bad guy? That's so predictable. Yeah, they went on like that for, I'd say, a good 2 to 3 minutes. I'll just say I was rolling my eyes the entire time all of that was happening. The thing is, I've said this so many times, in a lot of my videos. I love self-awareness. I'm not gonna lie. I love the self-aware jokes here and there. But when a movie is meta or being meta and just continually is self-aware over and over and over again to explain away bad writing, it gets too far. There's a limit to how much self-awareness is good and how much self-awareness is like, okay, you're just doing this just to have a little cop-out. I feel like the best self-aware jokes or the best meta jokes are just the quick little nods in movies, the quick little like, hey, just a little mention here and there. But when you spend a good 2 to 3 minutes explaining away that a movie ending is bad and that you're aware that a movie ending is bad and predictable, that's just stupid. And there's a lot of jokes like that in this movie, like the Sonic jokes. There's a lot of jokes in here that are just like, we get it. You're self-aware that it's bad and you're self-aware that it's cringe. It just would have been so much better if they just, pulled back a little bit on the self-awareness, But then at the end of the movie, we get a big blowout boss fight because Peter Pan ended up turning into a massive amalgamation of a bunch of different villain characters. We even have a little nod to Wreck-It Ralph with the I'm gonna wreck it. Then in the end, Dale sacrifices himself for Chip, and then Chip's like, oh my god, I can't believe you would do that for me, Dale. Oh, please don't leave me. And then Dale's like, I was alive the whole time. I just wanted to see you cry over me so I know that we're best friends. The end. So yeah, that's basically the whole plot of the movie. And I'll admit, at least it's not as bad as Seth Green's NFT trailer. Dear God, Seth Green. What in the hell are you doing? So let's look at this movie for what it really is. We've been analyzing it as a movie, and that's the problem here. It's not a movie meant to be taken seriously. Personally, I wouldn't even really call this a movie. It's a commentary on animation, the state of all animation studios and the struggles with bootlegging and such. It also could be considered a commentary of when actor shows get canceled. They get so known as that character from that show that it's hard for them to find work afterwards. And it's also, a big homage to all the different character works from Disney and all these different animation styles. I feel like a really good metaphor for this movie is one of those train rides that you take at a zoo and you go around the train and you see all the animals and you go, oh my gosh, look, it's a giraffe. Oh my gosh, look. That's what the movie is. It's really one of those movies you just need to turn off your brain, sit back, don't really think about it, and just enjoy it. And if you're like me and you're a little bit more, I guess you would say cynical or critical, whichever word you want to do, I hated it. But that's just me. I'm not going to judge anyone who likes this movie because let's be real, I completely understand why you would like this movie. I mean, the only good version of this is Cartoon Network City of the amalgamation of a bunch of different characters, but change my mind. You can't. You can't. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is a little bit shorter of a video than I normally do, but I just kind of wanted to make a quick little review on Rescue Rangers because a lot of people were talking about it. I want to give my little 2 cents on it, Make sure to subscribe if you like this video. Make sure to kiss your dog. Just give him a little kiss. Not like don't be weird about it. Like, don't be weird about, you know what I mean? Just like a normal